Anjan. I think this is the new product that I'm going to introduce. I think most of you have already searched about this thing. So, and some of you may already have some experience with boxes. Have anybody used this sort of device? Any experience with boxes? Maybe somebody has some great examples. Quite surprised that you guys don't know about this product. Actually, like, but why I wanted to discuss this was like we all normally in daily life we heard about the word that think out of the box. So I thought, what is out of the box? What is actually the box? Rather thinking about out of the box, but I thought like, what is out of the box? So while doing my research, I found that this example, this actually explain how to conceptualize and understand what is the box and out of the box. Somebody, maybe whoever going on leadership exam trainings and things, may already know about this example. So those who haven't heard about this example can join with me on these initial few slides. So actually, like, this is an example and I need somebody to help to fill these dots. So what actually we need to do is, like, there are 9 dots. We need to connect these without placing the pencil or the pen. So I need somebody's help. Like, who haven't done this really, that's better, otherwise that they will do crazy stuff and they will ruin my presentation. So haven't anybody who figure, I think, like, you don't need to think about this. This is a simple example. Without tracing, you need to connect these things. So can somebody come forward and help me on this? Without tracing pen, only constraint is without tracing pen, you need to connect all these dots. Yes, sir.
It should be using 4 lines, right?
No.
So without raising the pen, you can use only 4 lines, I guess.
No. No constraint. No. Draw the same pen, extend the lines. So can somebody come forward and do just help me out?
So connect the dots without lifting the pen up. That's the deal.
But then it has to be straight lines, right?
No constraint.
So I still think it has to be using 4 lines.
Sorry?
I still think the conditions are you can use only 4 lines and you should not. That's the optimal.
We don't need optimum solution. Can somebody help me? Pen is there, board is there. Can somebody? Yes. I will draw the dots.
If you are shy, put a tweet. Box, hashtag box LS.
Somebody who haven't done this early, without tracing the pen, you need to connect this. Just not sure, but yeah.
Clap, clap.
Yes, it's correct. But I have one question for you. I have one question for you.
Yeah.
Why the hell you use straight lines? Why didn't you use curves?
Straight.
I think that's the possible way to do it.
Okay. Let me do this. I don't know whether I can place this thing. This is also a possible version. So actually what happens is, with the context that we feel like straight lines, so the default thinking on the mind is like it should be straight line and we are going to connect with straight lines. Actually, no, like even we can use curves or everything. The only concern is we need not to raise the shape. That's the first thing. So when we think about the out of the box or whatever thinking, we need to be aware about the context. The assumptions that we make sometimes are not clear to us. It's in our mind, so it's not visible to us. So that's why sometimes we make the decision like this. That was not the requirement. So we may implement something difficult, something difficult to figure out. But what I actually wanted was just, without raising the thing, just correct it. The next thing I want to do is
step up. Tweet box LS. Hashtag.
you can tweet to this hashtag on Twitter. Already we have more than 100 tweets.
Yes. 100.
So next thing is, like, since you insist on like having it should be on 4 straight lines, the actual example on this is like this is a box and have a dot in middle. We need to connect this without raising pen with 4 straight lines. That's the example. Somebody who figured out, who haven't done this early, can help me again. Anybody figured out it? It's okay to get it wrong and go there. Somebody can try it.
Is there a price?
You get it.
Anybody who figured out? Figured out? Still you can try. Somebody. I've done this early, right? Yeah, I tried. Lucky, huh? That's the correct answer. So 2 things here, like when we try to explain actually, one thing we tried based on the context, we thought it's a straight line. So the requirement was actually without tracing, just to connect it. The actual requirement is rather raising the pen and also with 4 straight line we need to connect this. So it's going out of the box. It's kind of this sort of an example. So rather it's constraining on these 4 corners, you go out and get it done. So I work like I make some attempt to clear what is the box and what is out of the box. Anybody want to raise any concern, any comments, any more explanation? I can take it. Anything on this? This is an example. Actually, you can see the video on the YouTube, how this actually be done. The real example, I just make it simple, try to get it more attractive, that's all I did. So next thing is, based on this thing, Apple make an commercial advertisement without iPhone, without anything, no product, nothing at all, only based on the out of the box thinking, we just got this advertisement. India. They have a use iPhone. This is not related to iPhone. This is related to iPhone. So just thinking about out of the box, they wanted to communicate that their company is thinking out of the box. So just create the advertisement. So that's a kind of a way that they generated to sell out their products. And I guess that at LeapSet that we also need to do same thing without building products. As we do this, we need to use out of the book, start with building the product, how they are going to sell it. So that's one of the points that I need to make here. Then the real box I need to talk about. That's an example box. Actually, I don't know whether I'm going to talk about the inbox, whether it's inbox thinking or outbox thinking. At least I don't know whether it's a box at least. So the things that I need to point out, few things that will emerge only at the end of the presentation, so keep tuned. So when I asked to do this presentation, I thought I will go and find some details. So I queried the LeapSet database with some help from DB team. So actually we have 500 merchants live using daily the LeapSet product, and 10,000 employees that they have. So you can imagine like how many people on the employee side that they are actually touching these screens. And there are more than 10 merchants who have more than 100 employees. So think about the scenario like we are testing it. Actually, at least we need to have 100. Like if we are to simulate the real situation, whether this scrolling works and things, at least we need to have 100. Because actually, if you look at IX, they have 292 employees. So the things that we are doing today is quite different. We have, in my life, I have only 4 employees, 4 roles. That's all for last year I had to run my course. But the reality is, I felt that it is too different. And we have 6 million tickets, 110,000 products. All the recipes in the America now in LeapSet database. So if you want to make someone happy, just go query, get the product. The best selling product, you can find it on the LeapSet database. And even DST2 have now database copy, so you can query, don't query the production database. And not only that, we have 6 million customers in database, quite surprisingly. Sorry, 2 million customers. So if we can correlate these 2 million to Facebook, you can see how much data we can generate. But this is just an information that the initial information I got. So what actually I wanted to discuss is, are we really know the people that we are dealing with? Who are the people using our POS system? Who are the people impacting actually with them? So initially, what we are actually doing is we are creating a system for the merchants. But actually, merchants not going to directly use unless they are customers. So customer comes next. And the employees, they are people actually going to use the system, the real people who actually use whatever the things we are building. Then we have suppliers, regulators like government, tax and all those. So we have a product to cater all these and some etc. People like who are going to deal with our system. So when I thought initially I will discuss about the restaurant industry, where we are today and who are people, what are the things actually we are going to, we need to be concentrate on. But when I discover about the requirement, who are the people and things, I discovered that I can't do. And this hour will not be enough for me to discuss on the restaurant industry or anything. So I thought I will just focus on employees, because mainly the system, who are the main users that's using our system, 10,000 employees daily using to make their life easy with our system. So I thought like I will interview a few people, so I met them on the Google Images. And this is actually a general manager on the restaurant. His basically day-to-day activity is doing some general restaurant operations. So for him, what we have is few receipts. We have the report more than what we are doing today. Next, this is the executive chef. who is doing coordination, creation of recipe, creation of menu, that's the guy who does it. So we have menu encoding team halfway doing this job. So now we can rely on that one. But actually, the creating menu is not just creating the recipe, not just like putting the stuff on the menu at it. It's like you need to figure out what are the ratios, ingredients and things, all those things are there. But if actually we look at our product line, we don't have a product there. So the innovation that we can directly do, if we have a capacity, somebody interested in, we can directly go and that's a free space that we are still not counted. So this guy, even though he's smiling, if it was lipstick, I don't know what is in his face. And this guy, he's the sommelier, I don't know whether I'm spelling it correctly. He's the guy actually who mixed the wines and stuff, and he's the guy create the final product that I don't know how he's working. But what I feel is rather this guy helping on lipstick product, we go on site and help him by tasting whatever he's preparing. And this guy is the expeditor that normally in the restaurant that they use this guy to expeditize expedite, yeah. I want to expedite. This is the guy actually commanding whoever the line chef. This is the next product. This is the next product that need to be prepared. So these are the recipes that we bring for the kitchen. So still we are not helping that guy. We need to keep all these tickets there. So if you look at our the way that we are just printing this stuff to the kitchen. So still this guy need to hold it somewhere, and you need to do like all these manual operations. We can help you there. I think that's the reason even Mani every call rather in, we are still in the beginning. So we can do a lot to enhance the life on the whoever doing in the restaurants. Why am I presenting this to an engineering team who is building product? We have a product team purely based on US and they are building the product. So that was the next question I'm having, and that's, I think it's open. I'm expecting some answers. Why we need to think about products when we have a product team separately working on the developing products. This is open and anybody can answer. And I need some answers also. Because I need to understand this clearly.
Purely more brains.
Sorry?
More brains, more heads thinking together what we can do and all that.
If we
just don't think as an engineering team, we don't think about the product, we just build and check factory production. We just get what the design is, we do it and then send it out. We don't think about what the implication and all that. If we also think about the product, we can actually think there are more brains working on that particular product, and also we can come up with other more different ideas that the product team has thought of already.
So I have a counter argument. Let's say like you get some 5-year students here and asked to prepare products or prepare something that we are going to sell to a merchant. I feel like when I take a product guy, he knows the customer, he knows the product, what are the products available, who are the computers and all those. In Sri Lanka, we are doing nothing. We know Java, we know JavaScript and all those. So it's, if I look at that one, what I feel is just getting 5-year students to prepare a recipe. Any answer on that?
Why do you need 5 years?
Because like we don't know about the customer, we don't know about the US industry, we are mostly knowing about
that is
this
if
stuff.
we don't start thinking about the product, right?
No.
If we just take their let's say whatever they are saying, say they like the best thing that we can do, and if we don't think about it and if we are building it, they like 5 years students who can sit down and do progress and do it. But it's about thinking about it. We're not going to just repeat something without not knowing what we are doing, and we can tell you these are the few problems.
I think everybody heard that Pratula's answer, right? If we are not thinking today, at least today, even you don't know about anything about the product, what actually consumers, what chef is doing in the kitchen, at least if you start today, in the days to come, we will be matured enough to understand what actually a customer requires. So this is a journey, I guess, like we need to go through. So at least we need to start now, because myself, I haven't done this. I was Java engineer. So I felt like we need to start and do this. So I thought, I think I got the answer for this thing. Actually, I never bit about the SOA. This is SO manifest. If you look at the first thing, first value, manifest is business value over technical strategy. So if we are saying that we are technical persons, first we need to understand the business value if we are following SOA manifest. So we don't have any excuse here. Even though we don't know it today, that's the first value that we need to deliver. It's the business value that we need to focus on, not the technical specification, technical jargon, whatever things. If we are not delivering any business value, we are not following the SOA manifest. And we can't say we are delivering services, service APIs or anything. So I think I can draw the points now. I start with box, in-box, out-box thinking, and I talk about the employees, the real place that actually the product that we are building is going to use, and why, when the US team is there, why we are thinking about this thing. This is this example that I can take up. If we are saying we are delivering services, service-driven, service-oriented architectures and all those, this is the first value. We need to look at the business value and deliver the business value rather talking about the technical strategy. So I think all the things I could connect up to this point. Then the startup culture. The next thing I heard was LeapSet need to have a startup culture. And to get this answer, the correct person just arrived. That is Shani. You thought you skipped it.
I thought we started 4:30.
It was 4. This is the question actually I need to post on you. Why you want us to think like this startup, and what is the culture that you will get after you?
Well, startups are great companies, right, or organizations. And the main thing is that they're very fast. Startups get things done fast. They are very smart people. They think different. They have to work differently. If you compare a big company, like a large organization, it's very process-oriented, it's very takes time to make decisions. They're not very innovative, and they're very slow, right? So the example that I have used with some of you all is the whale and the shark. The difference between a whale and a shark, right? A whale can easily cross the Atlantic, very steady, very slow, but can get you across, right? We don't want to be the whale, we want to be the sharks. They're really fast, they're dangerous, they get things done. They can't cross the Atlantic, but that's the best analogy I can say. The really important thing is to be really fast and really smart, I think.
So the channels try to communicate like we need to be fast, we need to be agile. We don't need to run across the Atlantic, but we need to cross whatever we want the fastest we can. Actually, I found some characteristics that startup company should have. One is no politics first step. First step is the politics. Actually, like if you find any of these missing in your day-to-day life, you are not following the startup culture. The symptoms that you can relate, and some of the things extra also there, you can Google and find out the startup culture characteristics. First thing, we don't have any politics. Next is, it's not a job, it's a mission. We all, the difference between a job and mission. We have a target and everyone want to achieve that. If we want to go to moon, we can just say 5 to 8 and we will go to moon. We don't know what is there. So it's a mission that we need to achieve individually, and if we feel like we are not following, again we are not following the startup culture. And intolerance for mediocrity, that everybody knows. And everybody aware about the pennies that we are spending and how much it costs on the future for us. Equity driven, and we align to our missions. I will just go through good communication and strong leadership. More importantly, it's customer focused. We need to know the customer. We need to be aware about the customer. That's why I took the employee example and try to understand how we as startup culture having a strong understanding of understanding about the customer. It's a very important if you have to be startup culture. Because like if you know like startup, actually the previous example, those two girls were start a new company with 6 employees, and they did all their operations initially with 6 employees. So they started the product, developed the product. So for that one, they need to understand the customers and the environment that we are going to work on, who are the computers and all those. So if we have to be on the startup culture, we need to be aware about the customers who are using our products and who else is there in the market. And we need to have a good energy as well as fun. And there are a lot of on this list. And this is a list that I just copied from Google. And maybe we can enhance that one and enhance to that match with DeepSeek. So the next point.
I'm glad that we have all those things, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, virtually everything.
Watching for pennies.
That's something that's very important when you're very, very small. But when you grow, you don't want to save money. You want to bust all your money and grow as fast as possible. That's slightly different.
Yeah. That's Shani's experience.
One other thing that is possible there is that you also mentioned is the risk. It's a startup,
Yes.
you can take more risks than in a stable organization. Right? There's always a chance for you to get up on your feet. I can see here as well.
etc.is there.
Risk is clear, right? You take the risk, you fail fast, you move on.
So those who are actually there, I just removed those. The failure was there that actually there are some counter arguments like some startup just say that we need to fail and fail for the whole life. Like so that so because of that I just removed it because like we need to adjust all these things and get it aligned, but that's not one.
Quick. Yesterday what I presented, I had only 5 points. Key success factors of a tech startup. My summary was founders. Founders have to be strong leadership skills, charisma, communication skills. Vision to make the company unique and let it stand out among the competitors. A very strong team, market opportunity, and high quality product. So all those will align to those 5 eventually. So if you don't have good founders, vision, strong team, good market opportunity, and finally a high quality product, you're not going to survive. All those will eventually factor into one of those. At the same page.
Next thing is DevOps. This is something we have a buzzword around these days. Developers and the QA team and then deployment team, developing everything come together and deliver a product quite fast into the production system. So some people, Facebook and some guys, they are delivering a product, releases 5 to 10 releases per day. We are delivering 5 to 10 releases per month or twice a month. So the advantage is like we are delivering features quite slow. And in Facebook-like culture, they can do that, and because they are team, actually a developer is actually a consumer of the Facebook itself. So then when a feature comes, the developer know what actually need to be done. So for them it's easy, rather getting just the deployment completion done, the end user is itself the developer. So for them it's easy to get it done. For us to be there, I think we need to be more aware about business, the requirement. Then only we can actually deliver. Otherwise, like we deliver half-baked solution daily 3 times, that's frustrates the customer. So for us to be DevOps, first thing we need to be about the customer and the product. That's another point I need to make on. But I think I answered this question. So we need to be aware about the product and the consumers who are out there to deliver good service to the customers daily, maybe hourly.
I like that. My release is a day.
These 2 points I got from Mani. He wants us to be a domain expert and smart engineers. So first thing, domain expert, like knowing about the business, and then become smart engineers to deliver whatever the domain knowledge that we earn. To deliver that to customer, we need to be smart engineers, not just to be aligned only to a particular technology or something. We need to be all-rounders to get that delivered to customer. So I think that's the 2 point, the Mani point. What I wanted to point is, that's actually a business unit. Who is aware about the business, as well as is an engineer who can engineer the whatever the stuff that we want and deliver it to customer. So I just modified it again and put my words, and I think what he's because I just want to realize what actually as individuals we need to do. So that I was thinking on these things maybe 1 week, 2 weeks back, then Roman just told me like Romit, we need to do a presentation. So I was not quite ready on that, but I was thinking on the last 2-3 weeks how actually we want to be on these days. So it was easy for me to conceptualize these things. And I don't, whether I'm thinking it correct, I don't know. Just my personal thoughts. I want some.
And just so everyone knows, Romit has nothing to do with us. We never said this to him. So everyone, everything that we've been talking to you about, you guys about achieving with these things is exactly what he's saying now. I'm really happy he's not doing this presentation fast. Like he thought about this and he's doing it, but this is what exactly I've been trying to tell you guys. And he's doing the same thing up from a different angle. I'm really glad you're doing this.
So I feel like I am doing, and I thought in the correct way. So in summary, that's what I wanted to bring. Know the box, the industry where we are, think out of the box and be the business engineers. So that's the point actually I wanted to make. In addition to that one, even though I coined that word, there is another word for that one. That's called intrapreneurship. Not entrepreneur, intrapreneurship. So the people who actually start up things within an organization and deliver, drive things as they are born, and then get things done within the organization. Those are the people who are entrepreneurships. If you look at this list, I actually reduced some. There are 10 stuff that they do on daily basis. If you look at the first point, they come to work every day to be fired. Not to be on the job, but actually willing to be fired. They actually want to do something, maybe someone else not willing to do. It's risky to do that one, but actually they want to do that. So kind of if you are thinking about an entrepreneur, who don't know like actually whether the customer is going to buy it or not. In an organization, we don't know whether the management or somebody is going to accept whatever things we are going to do. It's just like we are working on. So sometimes things can happen is you will be fired. That's your choice. I think when we are having this sort of culture, what we want is an entrepreneur and we always willing to be fired. It's not a job we are doing here, we are doing in the mission. So mission we can't achieve with the job. That's one point. And also we circumvent any event that causing, let's say I have a vision to build some product or something, and still if somebody comes and say don't work on that one, whatever things, still I am ready to take that risk and go forward. That's a second characteristic. Do whatever you want to get, whatever you want to done, regarding your JD or whatever things. And find people to help you on whatever things you are working on, your vision, your project, your targets. And more importantly, we should not bet on the race that we are not running. So otherwise we will fail at the end in big time. Actually, these are the points that I want to present at the end. So all those stories I made up to bring these things be on the stage. That's it.
Guys, I also want to make one comment. Thank you very much for the informative and engaged presentation. Actually, I asked from yesterday night that you can do a presentation because you are engaged in a lot of work and we didn't have anyone to do a presentation, and Sharna just came and told me of doing a presentation. So within 2 days, or maybe he just did it today. It was a fabulous presentation. He